Yeah, good evening, everyone. We are back on this talk, our series, The Ministry of the Polygamous Man. And today will be the third episode, and we will be looking at whether a man is to be rich before he considers to go into polygamy, because a lot of people will tell you that they don't have any issues with a man marrying more than one wife if he has enough resources. He has a lot of money to take care of the women and the children. Then if he does, there is no problem if he goes into polygamy. That has been the condition that many people have put forward for them to accept polygamy. I am still your anchor and your presenter, Dr. Adeolu Olushodo. And in this series, I've told us that I will take us through polygamy, and I will use myself as an example of many things I'm going to be talking about. So tonight, let's get into the real discussion. Should a man be rich before he considers polygamy? It's a very great question. If you look at it from the surface level, everyone will say yes. Because to take care of a woman and to take care of children and to maintain a home requires money. Because you have to feed, you have to make provisions for daily requirements, things that are needed on a daily basis. You have to provide accommodation. You have to pay school fees. You have to take care of the health issues as they come up, and a lot like that. And that is why today it's acceptable that once you are rich, you could consider polygamy. But I think it's not really true that way. It's not really true. Like I said in the introductory episode, that the most important condition for polygamy is a righteous man. A righteous man. And of course, we know that it is not necessarily that when a man is righteous, he will be very rich or he will be rich. Of course, he will be comfortable, but he will not be rich in the way the world says richness nowadays. So should a man be rich before he considers polygamy? And like I said, I think it's not necessarily, it's not compulsory if one really understands what polygamy is all about. Let me take us into what is really happening in the society today. You're seeing a lot of marriages collapsing, a lot of marriages ending up in divorce. The divorce rate is very high now. If we consider what it used to be 20 years ago, 30 years ago, even 10 years ago, now it is estimated that 1 out of every 3 marriages will collapse before 10 years, and more after 10 years. And so the women that comes out of divorce with the children, what happens to them? What happens to them in the society? Most of them remain single women, single mothers, and they take care of their children, 2 children, 3 children, 1 child, and they face their work, they do their work, and they feed their children, and they take care of their children. Well, some of them also get some support from the fathers in times of school fees and monthly upkeep. But we found out that still a majority of them still have to struggle to keep the children in good condition, and also for them to really take care of themselves. That is what we have in society. And we also have a lot of women in society that have never been married and have passed, of course, a considerable age for someone to really get married. Some have waited, and they have waited for the right man, and yet they are yet to see the right man. And if you look into how competitive the marriage market in quotes is, you will find out that a lot of them seems like maybe they are not likely going to get someone to marry them. So what am I driving at is that we have in society a lot of women who are supposed to be married, but they are not married. And of course, definitely, they want to get married. They want a man to be there for them. And what happens to these women? They are just there. They are at the mercy of married men. They are at the mercy of Casanova single guys or divorced men who just want to enjoy themselves, and they don't want any commitment in their life. This is what really actually happened to women like that. And if you look at it generally, you find that these women are industrious. A lot of them pay rent, a lot of them pay school fees, a lot of them feed and clothe their children, a lot of them give them good life. But they still know that there's something missing in their home. They want a man to be there for them, a man to be there for the woman, a man to be like a father for the children. And so that is where it comes in, that when we look at that aspect of life, when we look at that issue, what kind of a man will marry such a woman? I've seen a lot of single mothers. They have been waiting for someone to marry them. But because, of course, they don't want any married man to come around, they want single men to marry them, or probably someone who also divorced and have children to cater for. They look out for such to marry. But those ones are not forthcoming. And so a lot of them are just there waiting and praying for them to get someone who will marry them, but not a married man. They don't want to go near a married man. But if we really look at it, that considering the fact that some married men don't see polygamy as something that is bad, and they feel, okay, I can still take care of a woman, even if she has some kids, then I can still, of course, be there for them and be their father. Won't such women consider the fact that, okay, fine, let me just go with this man and be his wife, and at least I can have a man that will be there for me and a man that will be there for my children? Now the question is, a woman that is already taking care of the home, a woman that is already paying her children's school fees, a woman that is already doing all that is needed for herself and for her children, does she really need a rich man? It's a big question, because the mentality is that once a man marries a woman, he is to take all the responsibility upon himself. But in this particular situation, are we really saying that the man must be very rich so that the woman will stop doing what she has been doing for herself and for her kids, and now expect the man to provide everything they need? It is not so. It is not so. And that is why, really, I see that depending on the arrangement, it is not compulsory that a righteous man should be very rich, or should be rich in, let me put very, that a righteous man should be rich for him to consider polygamy. Because for the kids and for that woman, they need someone. And what they are looking for, they are not getting. What if the married man, the man that already has a wife, and of course his wife does not see it as any issue, maybe based on religious belief, or from what he probably must have been telling the wife, I'm still going to get married to another woman. If she doesn't see anything, she feels, okay, you can go ahead. So can't he marry that woman? Can't he just be there for that woman and the kids without having to shoulder all the responsibility of the woman and the kids? And that's why I said it is not really that the man must be rich for him to marry such woman. That is just from one angle. The other angle that many people do not really look at is polygamy itself is a tool for economic warfare. That is what we are not really seeing. It's a tool for economic warfare, because just like our forefathers did, you marry more women, then you have more people to attend to your business, and your business moves, things goes on because you have more hands on the farm. But it's not only on the farm that you need more hands. There are many businesses that if your wife comes in and helps you, or you have two wives, you find out that it's easy for your business to really thrive, because you have people that are going to be dedicated, one, because they are going to put in more, and at the same time, while they are there with you in the business, the pressure of salary, the pressure of what it takes to keep 2-3 people on the job may not be there for you, because this is a family business that everyone it's contributing his or her own quota. Let me use myself as an example in this particular instance. And like I said, I'll be using myself as an example. When I started a clinic in 19, I'm trying to remember the year now. I started a clinic in the year 2010, yes, 2010. And I have the opportunity that one of my wives happens to be the person that manages the clinic. Of course, for the first 3, 4, 5, 6 months that she was managing the clinic, because it was just a new clinic and we are not really making much, she was not collecting anything. She was not on salary. All she just did was, of course, eat and stay in the house, and whatever needs she has, she gets funds to offset her needs. But the pressure of the fact that I need to pay her for the services she's rendering helped us to stabilize the business. Because I look at the fact that if we are to really get a manager and be paying to run the clinic, it will have affected us in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th month. And she's not just my only wife. She's one of my wives. So what if I don't have someone like that from my own home to handle that? How would the business have really picked up easily and would have coped? And that's why sometimes in this age also, polygamy is a tool for economic warfare. What if in the hospital there, apart from being a manager, I have another person who is a nurse and is working, and all of us we are working to build that business? It would have been something good and great. Of course, we could have even multiplied, we would have replicated that clinic in other places. Of course, I have one other person that's going to do it, and she can also handle that aspect. So polygamy is not just all about the negatives that we people talk about. It's about the fact that there are positives in polygamy. And if you have willing hands, if you have superb women with you, even if you don't have much, then they can help you to establish a business, to get the business grounded, and make sure that the business becomes profitable within a short time. And then before you know it, then the family can be stable and have much to play around with. That is polygamy. So it is not really about the fact that the man must be rich, I must be a millionaire before I start thinking about polygamy. Polygamy could also help a man to really establish himself, because the women that comes in could be a factor to help him in stabilizing his business. So that is another angle to the issue. It is not just only about being rich. It's not just only about being rich. There was a time I had a discussion with a Muslim friend, and he told me about, I think it's an hadith or so, that it says that if a man is poor and is married and his business is struggling, and it's advised that marry another wife. Then if the three of them, they are doing the business and the business is still struggling but it's coming up a bit and it's getting better, the advice is marry another wife. I don't really know the hadith, but I believe it's an hadith in Islam, and that's what it says. Because what they are just really going to capitalize on is the fact that there are more hands to put that business on its feet. And that is just, so it's not just about being rich. If they are cooperative, if the man is righteous and he has wives who are cooperative and supportive, then of course they don't have to be rich before they can live a happy life. They can come together and they live a happy life. And if you look at the fact, what I stated earlier, that if a woman is already running her home but no man, and marrying that kind of a woman does not mean the man will have to now, the woman must hands off all her responsibilities and put everything on the man. Of course, she just needs to cooperate with the man, since she needs the man and the man also needs her. Both of them can work it out, and it may not necessarily mean that the man will now be overburdened with taking care of a new wife and also taking care of our children. So we don't need to really look at polygamy from the fact that you must be rich. Like I said, it's about the man. If he's righteous and he has wives who are ready to follow him in his righteousness, then they can be happy even without being rich. They can be fulfilled even without being rich. That is just it. So we need to cancel this notion that we have that a man must be rich before you consider polygamy. It is not so. And that is why, looking at it today, it's not it's what I'm telling us, that being rich is not a condition. It is not a requirement for polygamy. No, it is not. If you are, it makes it easier for you. But if you are not, polygamy can also make you to be rich. Can make you to be rich. You don't have to be rich to be in polygamy, but if you are in polygamy and you know what you are doing, you can become rich. It could be one of the stepping stones. It could be one of the things that can make you to be rich. So that is it. Someone is writing, oh yeah, saying, Doc, I hear you, but polygamy is not for me. Oh, no matter what you say, I'd rather be single than go into polygamy. Of course, that's a personal choice. Yeah, it's a lot of people have that personal choice to make. It's you can decide to go into polygamy or not. And nobody is going to force anyone into polygamy. It's a personal choice. A lot of women will say, no, I can't be in polygamy. No, it's not like that. I have people that have told me that when, of course, then even when I was like still having 2 wives, and of course I was considering, okay, let me take another wife, make it 3, and I met several ladies and they don't want to be third wives. Unfortunately, I saw the readiness in them just to be side chick. They don't want to be third wives, but they want to remain side chick. But for me, if it's not marriage, then there's no need for that relationship. So it's like that. So it's a personal choice, and I respect your choice, ma. But the core bottom line is the fact that polygamy is not just negative, as people put it. There are positive aspects of polygamy, and like I've stated, polygamy can make a man to be rich. Even if he was not rich before getting into polygamy, if he knows what he's doing and the wives are supportive, they can be rich while being polygamous. That is just it. Another one person is commenting, okay, life is a matter of see and see, choices and chances. Yes, whatever choice we make, may it be fruitful and enriching. I mean, the chances that come our way, may we be able to make the best use of them. Yes, thank you, my brother Abdulmumuni Isa Olatunji. It's our choice to make, but whatever choice we make, is my prayer that we find happiness and fulfillment in it. So all I have to say today is, a man does not necessarily have to be rich before he goes into polygamy. Polygamy on its own can make a man to be rich. So I'm signing out. I'm your friend and your brother, Dr. Adeolu Olusodo, your anchor on this series, The Ministry of a Polygamous Man. So I'm signing out. Thank you for listening, and see you another time. Good night.